you thought it was Baywatch, eh? But no, this is the real thing. We're on the beach and we're here today to talk to you about rip currents.
Rip currents. You must be able to identify a rip current. Rip currents are powerful channels of water heading seawards. In those areas, you would notice a brownish line of water heading out beyond the breakers. You will also notice waves would go crisscross in that area. You may see a lot of ripples in that area or a lot of garbage or debris heading out in that area. If you happen to be in the water, you will feel yourselves going in a lot of potholes, and those potholes will eventually lead to a very deep pothole where you'll be easily swept out to sea.
And also it will be marked by a red flag that the lifeguard will put up. Now if in the event you are caught in a rip current, you have to swim parallel to the shoreline and then to the shore. Remember, always bathe between the red and yellow flags. Right?
My producer says I look like a French planter's wife, and perhaps that's only fitting in my Dominique Laroche outfit and having just completed the French Connection tour. And now we're going to have a look at Lopino, which has a French and Spanish influence. So we're here at the Lopino Historical Complex and we're going to have a guided tour by Mr. Martin Gomez, former curator of the Lopino Historical Complex. So join me as we continue to traverse Trinidad and all it has to offer. For those of you who are staying right here to get away, this is Real Life with Nicole, the Love Your Country series, and I'm Nicole.
Hey TNT, I know you all are accustomed to seeing me on the beach, but remember, water safety begins at home. So you see those water containers you all use at home? Things like mop buckets, tubs, wash buckets, those kind of. Make sure you empty it properly and secure it after use. And you know those water containers where we store water in? Make sure you cover and secure properly after use. So little babies and toddlers, don't get into it now. You know what could happen.
Those of you who have swimming pools at home, make sure it's properly fenced. When you're finished with it, empty the water out and deflate it.
Hey, you see them fish tanks we have in the yard? Be sure and get a strong wire mesh and cover it properly. And these barrels, I remember of a time my father sent me to get a bucket of water from in the barrel, but the barrel was only half full. So I leaning into the barrel like this, and lo and behold, I fall into the barrel. Good thing my brother was there to push down the barrel, and I come tumbling out of the barrel. It sounded funnier, but no, for real, it happens. So let's be sure to secure the barrels properly. And remember, water safety begins at home.
I want some good news today. Yes, that is what I say. Give me some good news today. That is what I say. I want a day when nobody didn't kill nobody and nobody didn't shoot nobody and nobody didn't hurt nobody, no.
background of birds chirping noisily in the background. Joining me is Mr. Martin Gomez, former curator of the Lopino Historical Complex, who will give us a history and a historical perspective of the Lopino Historical Complex. I understand from Mr. Gomez that he's been in this business since 1973, developing this project and working towards where we are right now. So let's have a conversation with Mr. Gomez, who will take us through the historical complexity that is the Lopino Historical Complex. Mr. Gomez, thank you so much for joining us.
Most welcome.
So give us a little brief about the history behind the Lopino Historical Complex, the project.
The project started in the year 1972. That's when we completed in 1973, and we had opened the Tourism Lopino Historical Complex in 1st of December 1973. Mm-hmm. The idea was this was a real broken down area and so on, abandoned, right? And the idea came that the village council, which I was a member, we wrote the prime minister to look into the history of Lopino. And if there is any history, we like it to be, and they did. We called it the Historical Society, and to come and look into it. And I started with them from that time. And so I worked with 33 years plus a 5 years grace, you understand? Yeah. So I enjoy every bit of it. Now that I retire, people keep calling me all the time to come and do it. And I come and do it, you understand? So today is no exception. Yeah, that's right. Well, the history is that Charles Joseph Lopino was born in France in the year 1738. By 1762, he had already joined the French army. By 1772, he had moved on to several countries, including Louisiana States of America, New Orleans in America. It said he was in Canada. He came back down to the Caribbean, and he went to a country called Saint Dominique. Right? Now, in Saint Dominique was French territory, right? And the free Negro slaves that was called Toussaint Louverture wanted to liberate Saint Dominique from France. And he caused a revolution. But Lopino was in Santo Domingo, right? And he had married a wealthy proprietor's daughter, and the proprietors had 127 slaves. The mother-in-law gave Lopino 100 of her 127 slaves. I personally found that was a very big gift any mother-in-law could give a son-in-law. 100 people to work for you for nothing, right? But what has happened is that the Haitian Revolution had really started, and Lopino wanted no part of that revolution. But they said that he was well beloved by his slaves, that the slaves put him in a barrel, like a cargo of sugar, and he ended up in a British colony called Jamaica. But after several years in Jamaica, Lopino heard that the soil in Trinidad is very fertile, because he was solier and planter. So he petitioned the Secretary of State for England to send him down to Trinidad, which they agreed. And by 1800, Lopino arrived in Trinidad. Having arrived in Trinidad in 1800, Lopino met the first British governor of Trinidad that was called Sir Thomas Picton. But no instruction was given from England to give Lopino lands in Trinidad freely. So Lopino made a mortgage, and he was able to buy. He bought 320 acres south of the Orange Grove Tacarigo Estate area. Now, if we are wondering how we are, east, west, north, south, Port of Spain. So 9 miles from Port of Spain is the Tacarigo Orange Grove area. It is said that Lopino was experimenting with sugarcane, but he failed with his crops after several years. And he had decided to search for new lands. With a bodyguard of African slaves, it is said that Lopino migrated up the Aruga River. Now we are having a problem with the name of the river. Up in the valley here, we are calling here Lopino River. Lower down, they are calling it Garden River. So an old Indian man come and look for me last year, telling me that he have a part of history for me. Between Aruka and Davadi going up there, there's a village called Garden Village. And he told me the reason why they call it the Garden Village and Gardener, not Gardeners, right, is that the owner, his name was Gordon. And the slaves, and they could not have said Gordon. So they say Garden, right? And up to this day, it is called Garden Village and the Gardener River. But we just maintain it as Lopino River. Now, hear what they say, that Lopino came up here with a boat. If you watch the river now, you'll say you can't get your socks wet too much at all. But what type of boat, they never said. And when he came inside here, again, they said that when he came inside here, he found nobody. I keep telling people all the time, Arima, where the tourists, the Amerindians are, Caribs, is not too far from here. So here is very close for them to come and hunt, and they will stay for a period of time. I want to tell you I was right, because only this year, Lopino great neighbors who are doing archaeological work come and find, how we call it, middens, and they started the project. So I was right again, you understand? Good. But when Lopino reached here, we go into the history that they found nobody here, right? Now, when he claimed 478 acres of this valley, he named it La Reconnaissance, right? So they said he planted cocoa and have erected his house in 1806, 280 years ago. The material of the wall of the house is mud, grass, and the wood frame. So that combination is called tapia, T-A-P-I-A, right? 280 years old, that's all. Now, again as a count, well, I shouldn't go through that, but again as a count, I found that, you know, it have been baffled with dirt house, you understand? And you have stone and everything around. However, he planted cocoa and erected the buildings outside there. One was used as a cocoa house and a jailhouse. We are now using it as an office. The second one is part of the slave barracks and so on.
Right.
Good. Lopino was very influential to one of our British governors called Sir Ralph Woodford. From 1813 to 1817, Lopino died 2 years after, 1819. So the remains of Lopino and his wife was outside there, and by 1838, slavery was abolished. But I always said that women had power a long time ago, because you had queens and all these sort of things, right? So when Lopino died, his cousin, a woman by the name of Eliza Lacoste, came and operated the estate with the slaves. No slaves tried to rape her, no slaves tried to beat her, no slaves doing nothing. They continued to work, right? Now, when Lopino was here, there's a slave called Colado. That's how this cave on the hill is named Colado. They said Colado had committed an offense against his master and ran away to the hills. After 2 days of searching, he was found hiding there. But there's not much history there. They say he was tried, convicted, and mysteriously disappeared. Again, I'm not buying that too much. You understand? Mysteriously disappeared. So you see again. So they tell the woman, you know, who was controlling, no, and I keep knowing. I have two reasons for that. Either she was treating them very good, or they had love her or something. Okay, and so after that, the slaves moved on after a while, and then you have the East Indian who came in 1845. The first set of East Indian indentured ship laborers that came to Trinidad, the majority of them were sent to Central and South Trinidad, while only 15 of them came on the estate to work. They had an agreement, they had a contract. And when the contract and agreement were up, they moved out to Lower Lopino Road. That village is called Surrey Village. Now, the first name is spelled like this, S-O-I-R-E-E. So it's pronounced Surrey by the old people. This one is pronounced S-U-R-R-E-Y as the county of England. So it's Surrey Village, right? But the old one is Surrey. So the older people still say, I'm going down Surrey. You understand this kind of way? Right. But I boast we are one of the best steel band arrangers. One of the best steel band arrangers in the world is from Lopino area.
Is it?
And his band is from BP Renegades, Charlotte Street, Port of Spain. So country boy in Tongue, Dr. Jit Samaru.
Right.
Right? I boast about that. Yeah. And that's right. That's the one thing. Well, what has happened after that period, 100 years after, 1845 to 1945? The then government of Trinidad wanted to make the next door valley over the mountain there. You heard about the Cora Valley. It was already populated, it had school, it had church and so on. Lopino estate was abandoned. So nobody was living on the estate and so on in the railway. The government of Trinidad and Tobago wanted to make that valley into a dam, water resource to service the east-west corridor of Trinidad. It never materialized to its fullest potential. So they moved the people, they broke down the village, And some of the people were sent to Santa Cruz in San Juan, Maracas Valley, St. Joseph, St. John in St. Augustine. Some went to Rima, Blanchisseries, Brazo Seco, Paria, the Lupino estate that comprises of 478 acres, were acquired by government, surveyed into 3 and 5 acre parcels, and redistributed to the Spanish-speaking people who didn't do one day's work, come and get Lupino lands. All because of mistake. I am saying all because of a mistake by a government, because up to this day, the dam is never completed. And it will never be completed because of the recreation facilities there, right? But I am not too vexed about that, you know, because I was born in that valley. And most of the people who come here and get things, they didn't have nothing across there, because they was working on the estates for all these people. So now they have something. So I'm not vexed too hard, right? Now, because of that element, that Spanish element, in Lupino we play a special type of music. Now, at Christmas time, we call it parang. But we don't wait for Christmas in Lupino to play parang. We play parang any day, any week, any day. It doesn't have to be Christmas. And when a Spanish Roman Catholic dies, I like the wake, because the wake is parang. If that person stays 3 days to bury, 3 days parang. And when you're going down in the hole is parang. But you know, it has something called 9 nights. Oh gosh, I love that best. It's bust up shut, duck meat, goat meat, wild meat, and so on, right? We shouldn't talk about the wild meat, but that is, and provision and so on, right? Then the juices is like fresh orange juice, grapefruit juice, and then, but you must have sweet drinks and so on. And then you'll have my type of juice, Johnny Walker Black, Black and White, Heineken, and so on. You understand? Right. And we play in parang. Now, if you don't have that too much, and there's some other religion, you're sure to get no parang at all. Okay? So, in Lupino, we still have our things going on traditionally and so on. Right? So, I just let you know that part. The 2 reasons were given why the dam in the Cora Valley will never be completed. It is said one is corruption, and the second thing is the curse by the Roman Catholic, saying if they should demolish the Roman Catholic Church in the Cora Valley, the dam will never be completed. So they did start the project, but after this day, the dam is never, right? It is said that the people walk with the material of the church over the mountains, and they have rebuilt the Roman Catholic Church across the savannah there in 1948. Every 15th day of August of a year, the Spanish Roman Catholics make a journey to keep a day of prayer, all right? But I take a car and meet them on the other side. I'm going through there. Okay? So here we'll go on again. It is said that the patron saint in Cora was Saint Veronica, La Veronica, and because we have inherited the church in Lupino, our patron saint is Saint Veronica, La Veronica, and so on. That is that part. So far we complete that part.
Okay.